bit of their time here. I guess, what, if they Wyvern, they put the Wyvern 4, which you're able to, but I get Wyvern Coddles feels like very much down to team fight, and they don't really have anyone to make plays with that combo. I do like Wyvern vs Slark though, but I think just Coddle puts you in a bad spot. Like, you can't. Is Tiny banned? Tiny's banned. Okay.
Radiant team pick.
Oh boy. Alright. I mean, this used to be a really nice matchup versus Slark. It's kind of one of the heroes you don't like playing up against. Just being able to constantly provide vision. Of course, you know whenever you're getting charged. Well, sometimes it's difficult because you don't know if there's a ward there or not, but it's just very nice to be able to stop his kind of passive from coming through. It's a hero that can come online relatively early. I guess it's someone that can make plays, but Spirit Breaker on his own is not a lot of damage, and they're just going to Centaur. I mean, it feels like another hero that you can't just Stampede and run away from Rupture, which is really interesting. They might ban the Pugna here with this Necrophos pick. I think you have to. I think you really have to ban it. I'm very I guess the Centaur is also really nice against the Coddle Will-O-Wisp as well. Just, you can either run in and try and destroy it, or just, you know, run out and then try and disengage. Is very similar against like the Wukongs. They do ban the Lesh as well. Brought up the Lesh Bloodseeker factor. Let's see if they do get rid of the Pugna. I mean, the hero isn't picked up too frequently, but it does deal very well with the Necrophos, and they kind of need some pushing potential. Actually, Chan and Centaur might be enough, to be honest. Slark, never really the greatest to hit towers, never really known for that, unless you take a good team fighting and kind of get a crap load of essence. But I like the Necrophos pickup as well with the Bloodseeker. It's one that's going to be able to dwindle down the lanes because of that percent damage in the passive. They haven't really revealed the lanes. Like, Necro can go mid or off, Bloodseeker can go mid and safe lane as well, so they can kind of get the matchups they want. I mean, I imagine it's going to be the Necro up against the Slark, but even then. They banned the Bat. Do they want a TA? If they TA, they could be in trouble of like a Viper here though. The Bat's an interesting ban. Well, the only reason they ban the Bat is because they think they're going to counter it in the mid lane with, oh, I guess Necro. It does destroy Necro as well, so maybe they're protecting the mid Necro potentially. I forgot that matchup's really, really bad actually. You don't really that would make Radiant's lineup very, very kind of fast paced. Like, you couldn't go late game at all with that, because I think Slark gets pretty heavily countered by the Bloodseeker. This is interesting. What do Keen actually need? Decent team fight right now. Catch with the Spirit Breaker. They got BKB Pierce as well. They don't have the greatest lane shove. Still depends if they're wanting like a mid lane matchup or not. They are going to tier, so yeah, okay. Protects the Necro, protects the TA, but I think now Avengerls are looking for a mid lane hero, and Viper's in the pool, Husker's in the pool. You can Razor as well if you want to. Razor against Bloodseeker's iffy. Pugner is also pretty decent against TA. You actually lane relatively well because the decrypt you're able to last hit, and the life drain's a good way to deal with refraction. You're able to come online early and just take towers with the rest of the team, and I already like it in the lineup anyway. I think they'll probably go for a harder TA counter, but they do still have that option to do it. I mean, they can just completely switch it up and go for just kind of a hero that's going to allow them to scale late. Razor is a big hard counter to TA laning stage and as the game goes on though, so even then, I'm kind of fine with any of the counters to the TA. Oops. I hate how if I press the enter key, it just disconnects me, and I don't know why it does that. I literally tried to leave my hand down. Nice, we didn't miss anything. Sorry about that. I try and put my elbow down on my table, and then I just hit the enter key. That's a little awkward, but they don't have the greatest team fight as well from Radiant. It's kind of just like get in, get out, get Slark as much essence as possible.
10 seconds remaining.
They could Conquer. Conquer's very good at drawn out fights, but I don't know if I like it too much into... Oh, that's a hero that made it late. Okay. The Deska Void Spirit. TA has a pretty good matchup versus Void Spirit because he doesn't deal with refraction. And yes, Void Spirit's going to have some physical damage absorption with the Resonant Pulse, but I find the matchup okay. At least in the laning stage, TA is going to have a good time. I think they needed to hard counter the TA a little bit more, because Slark's kind of already countered by the Bloodseeker. I think I much rather Keen's lineup, and we spoke about earlier the TA Cuddle combo. That's pretty much the only time we see Cuddle with someone. Earlier today, Keen actually ran this. This was the only game they won in their matchup up against Asta. So they're gonna try and pull it out again. It's once another game 2 where they've got the Cuddle the Cuddle TA combo. The Spirit Breaker's a little odd here, but I think that it has been well known to match up great against the Slark. I mean, you can always Dark Pack off the charge, but then you just got the Nether Strike follow up afterwards. Spirit Breaker is very single target though, but just mainly the reason why he's pretty decent is the vision you're able to provide, and Slark really relies on getting in fights, getting out, getting in, getting out, kind of just little skirmishes, kind of like the raid parties, honestly, just hiding out of the trees, stealing a couple of stats, doing this constantly. So who's got the better group up as well? They have a lot of sustain on Keen. Not even sustain, it's just like, how do you kill the Necro? The Void Spirit is going to be interesting. I still haven't really seen this hero work out too, in my games that I've at least casted. I have not seen this hero work out too well at all. I know Europe's been destroying with it. I mean, Samael, for example. Thompson as well. I mean, I know OG been having some pretty good games with it, to say the least, but it still feels like it's a hero that, in different regions it's kind of getting prioritized. First phase a lot, Snapfire as well, getting first phase prioritized pretty frequently. But with this being said, game 2, ladies and gentlemen, King Gaming 1 game away now from getting knocked out. Let's see what they're going to be able to put out in this second matchup. The game they've won today, of course, was with this Templar Assassin Cuddle. It's a different draft without all the rest of the heroes, but even then, I like the Dyer's lineup. I mean, it's kind of an intriguing one. We don't see too much. I mean, these kind of 3 heroes, the Necrophos, the Spirit Breaker, and Cuddle, don't really see these too often. But I think they do have some ways to deal with the Slark. Is going to be super, super nice for them. How did they don't have the greatest, like, initiation, though. So I wonder what TA wants to itemize this game. If he goes for, like, a Blink Rush, or if he wants to just farm with Deso. But like I said, the matchup's pretty decent against the Void Spirit. It's going to be interesting to see how Deska plays it. I think TA is one of the highest skill ceiling mid laners, at least for the laning stage. I mean, Voke is pretty high as the game goes on, but just the side blades to be able to literally outplay a mid lane matchup and like solo kill someone is incredible, and even just harass them out in that regards as well. But this is going to be a good lane at least for the Centaur. What's the Blood Right cooldown? 12 seconds. It's like 5 reduction, 7 reduction. Double Blood Right's pretty nuts, but I don't think they're going to use it. Like, what's the combo they go for this game? Double Death Pulse, I guess, for the sustain's really nice. The meld as well, we kind of saw in that game earlier from Keen, just the double meld hit bash is pretty awesome to see. But Deska early is able to trade relatively well until kind of the refraction gets picked up. You see just man fighting right now to see who's got the sustain to come through. But as soon as you run away from the TA, this is where she starts to favor. The side blade's starting to tick through, so I do like Keen's draft. I think they have ways to deal with the Slark right now, which is the big issue, because Void Spirit as a hero, I think, is very good at making plays across the map, like a high tempo hero, but scaling into the late game is questionable. And even Slark as well, for that matter. There's definitely a lot better position 1 heroes that's going to be able to scale in that regard, but considering you're against a Bloodseeker, which makes it difficult because you very much rely on your mobility, and you're not really someone who can just stand there and fight. Nothing like a Medusa or anything like that, but so what? Yeah, they open up with the Chen Slark, so let's see. They're gonna have a little bit of understanding. This is at least nice, like we spoke about, the region that they're able to get with the headdress along with the Divine Favor as well. So as long as he's able to get level 6 fast, so he doesn't have to worry about the thirst, because a lot of time the Slarks, you really try and have as minimal regen as possible until you hit 6. And then when you get 6, of course, you have the passive. So just get to that stage. Sometimes you even see them like hiding out in the trees and trying to soak that experience. But an SRF is going to have a relatively good time here. X just going to try and do whatever he can to run it in, but it does kind of make it difficult to trade at least. Once SRF gets a couple of levels, she's just zoning it back. Slox missing a little bit here. Might just miss the range creep. Pounces off the mark as well. So X with a couple of Essence. SRF still just... Dude, he's just running around, man. He's just doing Necrophose things. And they do charge him up on top of the creep wave. Really nice body blocks coming through, actually, from Mian. So X is going to take a fair bit of damage here. And there you go. He's low. So they don't have a Selv, unfortunately. A couple of Tangos at least to work around with now. But maybe with the Thirst movement speed, we might see some aggression. But looks like Kem has only got 1 point in the Thirst, though. So he's going to be fine here. How's this matchup going as well? Second point in Resonance, so yeah, the physical protection a little bit might be enough to help out there. At least outweigh the what the Templar Assassin is going to have throughout the laning stage. But we got to remember, it's actually pure damage as well with the side blade, so it does make it a lot more difficult for you to kind of man fight here. Whatever armor you do have. What's he actually got? So he's got 3 armor right now. Okay. Even then. It's going to take a while. Both lanes, well, it looks like, yeah, every lane, honestly, just pretty content with getting the farm. Although they're trading down bot. X get brought down here, has a Selv, so we'll be fine. But there's a lot of harass coming through right now. I mean, Chen, not really the greatest at outputting the damage, just kind of the sustain and trying to secure it with whatever creeps you're able to take. But you see just Mian's kind of been able to get straight on top of X, and probably going to see the Slark only put 1 point in Essence, just because you can't really... Oh, side? Pops that Fairy Fire just in case. Yeah, probably only going to put 1 point in Essence Shift just because you can't really trade out. Like, it's a range series, so you're not guaranteed to be able to get as much stacks. You really want to try and get that Dark Pack maxed out then, because that is where you get your farm from. Like, if you have to, you know, push up the wave, go to the jungle, like any flash farm. But this guy's a DD. Might be able to actually find first blood here. Action's going to come through, but I guess with only level 4 from Deska, can't really close the distance here. He's going to have the Remnant up in a couple of seconds here, so if Refraction wears off, it might be enough to be able to find the kill, but actually top lane, Xiao Yu's got the Retaliate stacks. Oh, then oh, that's so funny. Deska's still getting aggressive here. He's got the DD to work around with for a little bit. Wow, that neutral keep. Oh, denying first blood. You hate to see it. Oh. And now X, uh-oh. A little bit of damage. I mean, he's still only level 3, and the amount of regen he's had to bring out. I mean, this is going to be, what, his second set of Tangos at least. And Corey's going back for him now. Does have some 1 charges, so they're kind of, you know, spamming up the Death Pulse. But the Heartstopper aura is starting to pay off. You know, he's brought up the fact that kind of the Thirst is going to be really nice for the Bloodseeker in the lane. Can he get a sight? Deska's fine. Doesn't have a rune though. I mean, they're going to probably keep the bounty. He's actually just going to TP back. Even this bounty's not enough because of how low he was. But Chem is level 3 now. So with... He doesn't really need the movement speed because he's going to get it from the Thirst. So goes for the Gloves of Haste. Very good at allowing him to harass and trying to secure, you know, that little bit faster attack speed to deny and last hit as well over the Centaur. But what's the damage? They're both 80. So 98 with the Calling Blade. But you do see though, I mean... At least Deska's able to go back, you know, Slark kind of sitting around. I want to try then see them give solo experience to Slark. I know it's very difficult, so maybe Chen can just kind of pull the wave back and allow the Slark to farm into the tower. It's going to be difficult though, because they can probably dive in with a Spirit Breaker and Necrophos, but he needs solo experience. Like, he has to get the level 6 as fast as possible, otherwise this matchup's going to get difficult. I guess the more levels that Chen does get, it looks like he's actually going to go for a second in the Holy Persuasion there, so... But even then, so, I mean... No kills right now. We've just had 1 deny, at least. It was quite the interesting deny. Deska's level 6. Okay, not going to go for that one either. Hey, we find a courier ended up getting massacred here, so I guess that's a little bit of impact we're having already. The most exciting. Actually, no, didn't beat that deny, honestly, I'm not going to lie. But Bloodseeker's going to rotate down. I love this movement, actually. Level 6, they're already diving the Chen right now. There's a little bit of sustain, but it's not going to be enough. And now X, he can pounce away. He's trying to man fight, but here comes over Kama. Now with the Rupture Blood Rite set up, Slark's going to join the Chen in the afterlife. Deska's going to join them, however, with Yem. Already chucks out the double Astral Step, so he might be able to find the Spirit Breaker, but now he's kind of left on his own here without a way to disengage. He's going to be able to get the Blood Rite. Even with level 1, that pure damage is a lot. He's got the physical damage absorption, so Radiant will be fine here, and they're going to try and turn it on SRF though. Picks up the high gun, even with treads and 1 charges, no point out in the Ghost Shroud though, so I don't think the 1's going to be enough. Kemmer's going to try and help out though, so at least he will zone the back. There's a lot of space though.
Radiant's courier
I mean, in the meantime, he's just taking this mid tower.
Radiant structures are fortified.
They're playing this really well. I mean, this is what we saw last game as well. Like, Keen, they rotated early to try and put pressure on the tower. They're doing just that. I mean, as soon as the Void Spirit roams and
Radiant's middle tower
T's
is
just
under attack.
held through it. And with the Blightstone, man, yeah, this tower's just gone. I mean, they've already used Glyph. I mean, I guess Rubik can kind of chuck out a Fade Bolt, but he's also going to be careful with his positioning in case they have a trap set up. I mean that's big. We saw what last game they could do with the tier 1. Unfortunately, they weren't really able to transition into into anything. No, let me rephrase that. They were able to transition into a very good kind of 15-minute start, but then all of a sudden it kind of fell off. I'm surprised she didn't stack that. Might actually farm it before. Oh, never mind. I guess if you're just going to farm before the minute mark, yeah, that makes sense. Oof. That would... Oh, don't block it. Okay, good. Almost blocked that one too. I'll hold the Faded Brooch. I mean, no real debacle there. Definitely wants a PMS on top of Kemmer here, but I'm very surprised they left... Bloodseeker left the bottom side. I think you're a really good hero to be able to zone out the Slark and kind of force him to jungle. This hero doesn't farm jungle very fast. I mean, even though he's kind of has the Dark Pack maxed out. Previously, Slark used to not be able to take the jungle stacks because his Shadow Dance level 1 was only 4% HP regen, and it just took way too long to be able to go from jungle to lane because you have how much damage you actually took along with the Dark Pact as well. But next, they're charging him down here. Pops the Shadow Dance a little early. They don't have the Nether Strike, so with the Dark Pack, we'll be fine. But now Deska's going to show up too. It's actually... Oh, sends him still to Chen here. SRF, if we can get the ultimate off potentially, but I guess Dire... They're going to force a couple of rotations here, so instead they'll just leave the Necrophos to die and try and get whatever farm they can across the map. Sorry, we're not on net worth yet. Radiant are putting a lot of emphasis on this bot lane, and in the meantime, he's just taking over the jungle, man. I mean, he's about to have a pretty close to a blink, considering how many stacks he's been able to find, along with the tier 1 neutral items as well. But yeah, I think that the Slark, I mean, you can kind of... Now you can farm the jungle a lot better. I mean, 4 points in Dark Pack. You don't have to have this kind of HP regen item sometimes. You didn't even need it if it was 4% Shadow Dance, but it was very difficult to stay afloat throughout the jungle. But sometimes... Oh, Deska will get brought down. Yeah, nicely played. I mean, even without the blink or Deso, so... And now they're going to collapse on bot potentially. Right before the outpost diet. Can they get there in time though? I mean, Chen doesn't have a way to cancel an outpost control, so they need to make sure the Rubik's in the area. Gonna take a fair bit of damage though. Chen's got 3 keeps. I mean, Yami might just die here. I'll try to get the Stampede as well, because in the meantime, mid lane, however, Yi will get brought down here. They do get the Rupture out. Kemmer's going to turn up a little bit late. Actually going to try and man fight still. He's got a little bit of essence stolen, but I don't think there's going to be enough to man fight Kemmer. Be able to get the regen, but in the meantime as well, Destin's going to show up with the Blinding Light Invasion. It's going to make it very difficult for Slark to be able to man fight. And now Kemmer, he's still got the Thirst charges as well. Will now wear off considering Slark's been dead for a period of time, but it looks like with the Trap Soul along with the charge, they're going to be able to get on top of the Rubik. Deska's going to show up as well. They don't have the Scythe now, but still Kemmer wants to try and close the distance. It looks like with a nice use of the Remnant, we'll be fine. It doesn't say like in the Thirst, but it's very interesting that how Bloodseeker gets Thirst for a period of time still after a hero dies. I can't see it in the description. It feels like it's like 3 seconds or something, 3 or 4. Trying to read, but yeah, I can't see anything about it. So 2,000 gold net worth lead for Keen Gaming right now. Nice start for them, considering we saw the last start they were able to have. But Spirit Breaker. Yum. Already committed for the charge here, so won't really be able to disengage. They're still going to try and provide some help with the evasion, but I'll still chase him down behind the tier 1 tower. Radiant don't have they have okay ways to push. I mean, Xiao Yu with maxed out Retaliate, but they're going to make sure they don't lose this tier 1 tower. SRF rotates in. I mean, the Necrophos is just an incredible guardian to be able to protect. A lot of these offlane heroes, you have this natural tanking kind of toolkit, and also you itemize very tanky. I mean, you see he's pretty much almost got the mech, and he just wants to kind of be that guardian. Do whatever you can to try and keep the towers alive, because it's going to make it difficult for Radiant to try and infiltrate him. So they've got the numbers advantage right now. It's kind of the annoying thing that, yeah, you see, X should know they've got vision at least, so it's going to just wear off now with the charge. What's Meow going for? So he's got Urn into the treads. Interesting. I mean, the urn's kind of nice on Spirit Breaker just because of how much of a roaming hero you are, going from, you know, kill to kill, gank to gank. Have this impact, but there's a blink down on TA. So we will see Yi get a little bit more aggressive across the map with this blink, but still, you know, the timing I think is this Desolator when they're going to be able to sneak Roche potentially with, you know, the triple meld coming through thanks to the Chakra. They're going to smoke up though. Heading towards the top side here. Radiant, they're all grouped up as well.
Tower is under attack.
Radiant do have a little bit better of an advantage throughout the early game with the numbers just because Chen can rotate in someone and because the kind of the tempo control in the Void Spirit, but Whitehole's going to get dropped in. Nice blinding light pushback as well. They'll commit a lot onto the Rubik, but he's able to stay alive for a little bit longer so the Scythe doesn't tick him out thanks to the Hand of God now, but Scythe on cooldown SRF. Xiaoyu's going to blink forward already, has this picked up now, so the Necrophos Ghost Shroud will come through. Still got some one charge in the mech to work around with now. Back to full HP, and Death's got to be careful with the Rupture. Blood Right combination, they'll Nether Strike it back into the Blood Right. A perfect timing from the Spirit Breaker, and now X is going to be able to find SRF here, but he'll pay for his price. Life will end up dropping. Quite the fight for King Gaming, and they're not done just yet. Oh, it's not. Looks like it is the Chen creep, but still, they just need the vision right now. Trap's going to be up in a couple of seconds, but they want to dive. Looks like the answer is yes. Mian behind the T3 tower. Xiaoyu, a nice blink stun, is able to find two. There's not a lot of damage follow-up considering the cores are down, and still they're going to think about continuing this dive here. Xiaoyu will be fine. They just want the supports though. Rubik stuck out in the trees. They might have hung around a little bit too long considering. As long as you get the refraction into the blink up, Blink's actually on cooldown right now. Mian's going to try and help with the charge. They're going to get the blood run onto two as well. And the thirst, it's starting to stack up now. Camera, if he wants to continue this on, X is going to respawn out of the grave here. But even without that, another blink forward Yi, who can close the distance on with the Astral Shep. They dealt with the refraction now. He's going to get brought down. Still another charge. Mian, I mean, just constantly trying to work out, help around with his cores, but it got to the stage where Keen, they dived way too far, and they're like, screw it, you know, we're too deep already. Just get as many kills as we can before we can get out. It felt like there were some periods where they could have disengaged, and some times where I thought that fight was going to end, but no, they just kept going. They're like, we just got to commit. Just commit fully to it. You do see, though, 3,000 net worth lead for King Gaming. It's going to be pretty big if they do lose the tower now. Xiaoyu with the retaliate. But Dire about to respawn, so they'll be able to keep this one up. You do see how difficult it is to kill Necro, though. I mean, max heal coming through from the Mecham and one charges was a very good way to just kind of stop the counter initiation from Radiant, but Centaur's relatively farm. Xiaoyu not really going for any utility this game. Instead, more the just the rush blink. We saw last game he went for the hood on the StarLadder first. Actually, no, that was the other team. Well, oh no, yeah, it was Xiaoyu. I'm getting confused. Sorry. Like, wait, because they were Dire. That's why it confused me a little bit. But, and is this about to have Deso after you take a stack here, and you know, the fact that Dire already have the net worth lead. We're probably going to see them be able to take Roshan as well at quite the timing considering. Radiant, they've already have a pretty good ward in the area, so they're going to make sure this does not go for free, which is the important thing. But they have the greatest way to be able to defend Roche? That's the question. Like, Avengerls don't have the greatest kind of team fight lineup, which is the one thing I'm kind of worried about here. But at least it's going to get to the stage where you're kind of forced to protect it. And Xiaoyu, the issue with the blink is that kind of why we see we don't, a lot of offlane heroes don't go blink kind of first item, is that if you don't find these pickoffs with it, you start to really fall behind because it doesn't help your farm, it doesn't tank you up. Fire. Don't really want to commit onto a Rubik. It looks like they've got some decent vision, but I guess I'm actually surprised because they pretty much see everyone now. They're going to be able to get the observer ward as well. How do they have vision up there? How do they actually have vision on the high ground? Maybe Slark's nighttime? Alright, here we go, Radiant. They're going to smoke up, see if they can link up down bot.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Actually, are they? They're going to go mid. Sorry, apologies. Smoke on smoke here. They have the Will-O-Wisp as well. Finds the cuddle, but if they group up, oh, they're able to burst him before he gets the ultimate off, and now with the Rupture. Descary's got his double damage room, but can he get control? Blood Right will be able to get out of the area right now with the blink forward. You'll Scepter control him. They still have the Scythe to work around with right now. Deska makes on the high ground now with the Rupture on cooldown. Cuddle's going to be forced to buy back here. Deska's kind of stuck up there. Oh, the charge! Cancels it. That pushes him down as well. The will-o-wisp. They get the scythe. He won't end up falling, but he's still stuck on the high ground. They bring him down. The scythe dead for 40 seconds now with a blink. They get the evasion. Chen, it looks like no escape for you. Might actually be able to at least die to Roshan, but they find a couple of kills right in front of Roche, but it looks like instead gonna try and hunt for Yim. Dude, what a odd fight. I mean, they burst the cuddle, which is a lot of the team fight from Dire, and then you see the Void Spirit stuck on the high ground. He finally tries to get out with the TP, and then Spirit Breaker charges and cancels it. They knock him down, and then he goes back on the high ground as well somehow, and there we go. Finally they'll be able to Roche. So Aegis on TA. Quite the interesting fight to say the least, but I mean, a 5,000 gold net worth lead now. Yaoyu's going to join his friend up by there as well. It's just the evasion is making it very difficult. 70% against the Slark, which is a hero that very much relies on being able to kind of stack up the essence. Does he have to go? Does he go BKB this game though? I mean, Will-o-wisp, Necro, Spirit Breaker is going to be able to kite him. So will the Rupture as well. So he might just go a little bit greedy. That's the question. Like, what is the item build this game for the Slark? If he wants to go BKB Ags or even Ags in general, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't go Ags either. I think he needs something else. You know, kind of that old build where we see like second item, you know, Sanjin Yasha, Skadi, something. Be interesting to see what he does want to go for, but Die now with the Aegis. Just going to continue the threat. They ping out the high ground. I don't know if they're going to. They do have a kind of a lot of tank ability, but as long as Cuddle doesn't get killed first, I think it's really important. And they're just going to say, frick it, let's run up, baby. If Radiant don't get set up just yet, try and get the traps at least if they can disengage and kind of reinitiate. And to at least take the T1 tower down. But oh, no points in the Arcane Supremacy as well. That's alright. There we go. They'll force him back at least for Keen. They might bait out the high ground as well. They don't have a ward kind of on this very commanding position, just making it, you know, controlling the double stairs and these choke points, but still, they're just kind of control up the jungle at least right now. You take a look at 5,000 net worth lead. They just, yeah, they smoked, alright. They're Seek Desker at the moment. Smoke's gonna pop as well, and they have a relatively good observe ward in the area, so Desker should be fine, although he's gonna run into Mian. Runs off the marks. Nice use of the dissimulate. They're just gonna try and I mean, the movement was a... And I don't know what they're trying to go with that movement, honestly, because bot's not pushing in because Yaoyu's dealing with it. I guess maybe trying to get a pick off in this area and then transition it into a tier 1. I forgot when you're in the drawing is a lot more... They want to jump him here? I guess Mian's in the area. I think they saw the tree actually. Oh, he tried to time it to break the tree. I mean, I know it might be in a bit of a situation though. It's just the blinding lights, the stun's not going to be on the mark, but even then, they're really just kind of making Radiant group up. They're kind of, you know, feinting a little bit of, you know, initiations, fights here and there, forcing rotations. And in the meantime, you know, they're not getting too much out of the Aegis. You know, they took the tier 2 top, kind of threatened that high ground as well, a little bit of damage, but now with everyone kind of forcing mid, they're just going to run bot. So the only way Radiant to really get here is if they smoke up, because they're not really, they don't have any sentries in the area, so not really sure if potentially it's warded or not. There's a Manta as well in the Bloodseeker, so... What am I missing the Manta for? I guess the Orchid on Void? Oh, you can Manta out of the Remnant. What's happening here? Chen, Hand of God. They're going to bring forward TA's going to be careful. And he's still got the second life to work around with now, but the heal's not going to be enough to keep him alive. So here comes the Scythe as well. Rubik will join the Chen in the afterlife. Another Rupture. X, can he disengage? Shadow Dance pounce up on the higher ground, but they can follow up if they want to. Dire, relatively tanky thanks to the Necrophos. The charge going to get counted out here with the Remnant. Another initiation from Jiao Yu, finds 2, but now Templar Assassin's going to blink on the higher ground. It's a lot of damage. Stark's going to be careful as well with the Shadow Dance on cooldown. They're going to be able to bring him down. Jiao Yu as well has no way to disengage with the charge from Spirit Breaker, but just being able to collapse, close the distance. Buybacks available if Radiant want to try and force a couple out here. Just Radiant's damage is very lackluster right now. I mean, Chen doesn't really have too much. And they do deal with the Aegis, however. It's a 4 for 1. A relatively big swing. Are they gonna group? They're thinking about it. They don't have a lot of the ultimates. They're all on cooldown right now, so they've got to be
Dire's top
careful.
tower is under
Yeah, you
attack.
just kind of try and be what little guardian you can, but not easy when everyone's down. And they don't have the greatest D push right now, so they can't really deal with the creeps. I mean, you see Deska's trying, but he's also bought out for the Crystallis as well, so Spirit Breaker turns it up. He's only got one Astral Step to work around with, so Deska does have to be careful and dodge out with the Dissimulate. And then maybe Dire are pretty content with this. They almost get that tier 3 tower. So not really going to be able to group up. Try and offer another push potentially. So the Aegis is down. SRF's also going for the Ag, so... Ooh, what's a cooldown go to? Wait, what? I have not seen the new Ags, actually. Ghost Shard cooldown to 10 seconds instead of 16. So that's all. So, -6. Nice. Oh, Spirit Breaker. Onto X here, but you're not in the greatest spot right now. Radiant have pretty good vision in the area, Xiao Yu, with Initiation Fall. They need to try and blow up the collar before you get the ultimate off in the meantime, and they will be successful with that. Now, X on the backline, going to try and steal as much essence as possible here. Spirit Breaker charge, Nether Strike as well, but the Shadow Dance will be able to counteract this, but X is going to be careful. Nice body blocks, will be able to keep the Spirit Breaker alive, and now it's time for Radiant to disengage, however. But is the vision going to be there? X is going to try and TP out. They do have a Blood Ride available, but Kemmer's not going to chuck it. So, pick off for pick off. Coddle, very important to be able to stop the kind of the control with the white hole. Are you? Fine. He's gonna go Lotus Orb next as well. Rupture Scythe, very nice charge as well, I guess. Or more Nether Strike, but still 11,000 gold net worth lead. I mean, it's just continuing to grow right now from Dire. Yim, I'll be able to get the charge in time. Continuing to grow for the boys over on Dive. Much better performance from them. You know, we saw kind of this early game advantage they had in the second game, and that they just kind of weren't able to capitalize on it. And they took some disadvantageous team fights, I should say. But at least now they're able to continue transitioning this net worth lead. And yeah, Slark did go for the Sun Nash. Okay, interesting. Ooh, at least you get the regen amp, I guess that's nice. I wonder what it goes up to from 6% without the Sunjin Yasha. I mean, that's definitely not the reason you go for it. I think just the stats that it's going to be able to provide you. I mean, I don't think Ags is good, and BKB feels like 50-50 this game. So, I mean, Ags this game in general, I think. Because you don't want, like, mobility against a Bloodseeker is pretty useless. I think you just need to kind of survive the Rupture and kind of tank up, and he's also going to go Satanic next, so I guess the status resistance is really important. It's also good against the Necro, honestly. A lot of time people are very used to the Scythe duration where you can still get damage in after it's been casted, so the status resistance will reduce the amount of time you have there. Down here, looks like he's actually Spidey senses tingling, so they do see Slark with the trap. Do they have a gem? Oh, how the frick did they see that? I guess this is the easy way to charge. What am I missing?
Radiant are scanning.
What? How did he see the trap? Well, anyway, Coddle. Still alive thanks to SRF here. If he can drop the ultimate, he will be successful with that. Yim's going to be able to steal it, however. They might be able to turn this fight. It could be decent right now for Radiant. Conqueror's Stun going to try and control the Necrophos here. They haven't dealt with Radiant's white hole at the moment. Now with the Blood Right, kind of zoning them back. X as well. So they've controlled the Rupture now, and Slark's gonna be fine if he can stay alive before the Scythe comes through. The Hand of God will be able to keep him there, and the stun, Xiao Yu onto 3, X is still alive, they're gonna be able to turn it. Bloodseeker is gonna end up falling now. Yi with the BKB is trying to output as much damage as possible to X. He's still gonna be fine, pounce up to the high ground, and now Yi's gonna be careful, he's gonna be able to turn around. They don't have the Astral Step in the meantime, and now Xiao Yu with a blink forward. Hoof Stomp only onto 1, they're still gonna try and man fight though. They've got a couple of buybacks remaining. Chen, can he even TP it? It looks like Deska's gonna be able to rejoin the Remnant off the mark. Can they follow up the Templar Assassin? It looks like with the charge forward, Yim's actually been able to steal it here, but they don't have the damage. Necrophos on the backline, he's already used a lot of the sustain coming through, so SRF's going to end up falling. And Blink, it's available for the Templar Assassin, but he's still trying to stay around. Coddle's going to be able to rejoin them here. Void Spirit, can he end up falling? He will. That's a dieback coming through for Deska now, and he's got to be careful. X, still trying to man fight here. No mana available. Yi will be able to get the Blink away, but it looks like Mian now. Apache able to bring down the Rubik, but X is not done just yet. These long drawn out fights incredibly favor the Slark. 46 essence for the end of it all. They force a buyback out on the Void though.
As if I wasn't slippery enough already.
Did Bloodseeker buy back? I guess he had ages still. Nope. I mean, X isn't done, man. So much essence straight on top of the cuddle. Evasion on cooldown. He wants to hunt more. Blink's gonna be up, but it looks like good old meld. That's a good way to counter out that one. Poof. All right. Well, Slark. I mean, let's take a look at the swing real quick. It's 13,000. Not a big swing considering Radiant did, it's a dieback on the Void Spirit, unfortunately, but wow, what a... Dude, that hoof stomp from Xiao Yu, just keeping X alive somehow. He's got to try and tank up, man. The hand... I love how they're keeping the Hand of God and the kind of the heal burst for the Scythe, doing a really good job.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Wait, what's it go up to? Except the damage multiplier 2. That's a really weird Aghanims. Like a really weird Ags. I haven't seen it on Necro, so this is going to be interesting. But it's quite the fight for Radiant. I mean, they forced the Coddle ulti very, very kind of aggressive. I mean, he just had to get it out before he died at least, and it allowed Rubik to steal it, so it kind of counteracted both ultis in it. And it also gave them... The more important thing about the fact that Yim stole the Will-O-Wisp is that it gave Slark enough time for the Rupture to come off cooldown, and this is a really nice thing with the status resistance as well. I mean, he's got 20% flat right now. Once he gets the Satanic, it's going to go up a little bit as well, but I mean, he's level 20, so that farming speed is going to start to amplify with the Dark Pack damage. Tier 1 for the meld armor reduction. No other 20s just yet throughout the game, but we do have the tier 3 neutral items. So Dire got the repair kit. That's pretty nice. I mean, even then, Radiant, even if they win a fight, all these fights have been taken like kind of on their side of the map, which makes it very difficult to transition it into an objective. They're going to repair kit up this tower as well. So that is the first usage of the repair kit. It was, let's see how much it's going to get up to. It was pretty much on like 50 health. It was very, very weak. So it's going to be interesting to see how much it's going to be able to get there, but he's getting close to the Satanic, man. I mean, he's already got the Paladin Sword, so both of these, Sunjin Yasha amplifying the lifesteal. Yeah, it's already getting some from the Paladin Sword as well. I mean, if they can't control Slark, it's going to be difficult to bring him down, but the Rupture is the main thing. That is the big question, honestly, if they're able to do it. God, dude, oh, it's so weird when they can do that. I think you can only do that, right, if someone else is channeling it as well, I believe, but this is big. Roche is up. Both teams have a relatively good way to be able to scout out if anyone's trying to take it, but Radiant, they got to get in the area fast because Dire can melt through it with all the minus armor that they have. There's a couple of BKBs as well now. I mean, Bloodseeker, that's a 10-second duration. Templar Assassin as well, that's a 9-second duration. Radiant, they have no BKBs at the moment, so supports are going to smoke up, try and just sit as far on the back line as they possibly can. They need to scout out Roche. Looks like they could all say to banishes. Gonna take the sacrifice here. We're able to find out. So how do they take this though? I mean, another DD on Deska, but remember, he doesn't have a buyback available. Spirit can just frontline because he's got Bulldoze maxed out, so at least the status resistance. You don't really want to run into X, so he can steal a little bit of the essence here, but pulling forward Deska. He steals the Aegis actually. The DD. BKB's gonna fly through. They're still waiting for the white hole in the backline, controlling all of Radiant now. They gotta be careful. BKB's slightly getting kited though. They'll find the Chen. Buyback's available. X not ruptured up as well, but they get the side. They're gonna be able to bring him down. The Hand of God's not enough, and now Xiao Yu's the next target with the rupture. He can't disengage. So even though they stole the Aegis, Deska has got the cheese as well to work around with, but I think they can still control him. I mean, he's got the Astral Step available for the Blood Fight. Perfect timing from Kema. Wow, what a fight from Dire. They find a buyback force from the Chen as well, but they do have the repair kit at least. But, I mean, no buybacks. Yes, Slark doesn't... this is looking grave because Dire are going to melt the base. And, I mean, the Will-O-Wisp from Coddle connecting on all 5 was flawless. Just zone them back, and Slark's not... They're going to end it. Slark's not buying back. Frick it, let's just try and end this game. How do they defend this? They know Void Spirit doesn't have a buyback either as well, considering T4's going to drop Radiant. They're going to hold some defense here. What can they do? 2 supports and 1 core. Xiao Yu will try and delay as much as possible, but it looks like that's just not going to be the case. They'll turn back to him. Does have a buyback at least available. Time for Void Spirit to respawn as well. They're just beating to the throne now, Ryan. Radiant, they've got to do something with the BKB. It's going to get popped. They won't be able to control them, just hitting the throne right now, and the G's are dropped. So we're going to a game 3, ladies and gentlemen. King Gaming this draft has been able to work for them. The second game in the last series, they were able to win with the Templar Assassin Cuddle. The second game of this series, they were able to win with it as well. And it's got to come down to the draft, man. It's just such an interesting opener from Radiant. The fact that you go for a Chen Slark, and it's not a last pick Chen in the first. Sorry, it's not a last pick Slark in the first phase as well. So Keen, they can go for either the Lesh, which is very good against Slark Chen, or the Bloodseeker. And you also get the Spirit Breaker, which is always been known for a good hero against the Slark because you're able to provide vision, makes it difficult for him to get the regen, and yeah, you can Dark Pack off the charge, but then the Nether Strike is just going to be able to bring you down. It's kind of 50-50 because Spirit Breaker is very single target, but anyways, I think they prioritize the Slark way too heavily in this draft, and Keen, they're able to just pinpoint the weakness, the wing condition, and unfortunately Void Spirit just wasn't able to make enough plays across the map. I mean, it did have an incredible Aegis still, but even then, just Keen, some really nice kind of just, you know, they couldn't kill the Necro, and the sustain not only coming through from the Necro, but also like the kind of effective sustain with the evasion. It's so strong against the Slark because the hero gets a lot of his damage from sealing Essence. You know, that drawn out fight, which was the only one we saw. You know, we had like almost 50 Essence, and that's where Slark really excels. And Radiant, they're not the greatest at these drawn out fights. And, you know, with that being said, King Gaming, they're going to be able to even up the series now. So we said all they have to do is take it game by game. Nothing changes. They still have to win 2 games to at least make it to the lower bracket finals. We'll take a quick break. Let's see if King Gaming or Avengerls are going to be able to move on, and who's going to be the first team to get knocked out of the StarLadder China minor qualifiers. So we'll be back very shortly, guys, for game 3.